Thank you so much, everyone. Wonderful to be here in Mumbai. I've come here especially from Delhi. कुछ लोग अगर हिंदी में बोलना चाहें, मैं हिंदी थोड़ी बहुत बोल सकता हूँ तो ओके, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. और थोड़ी बहुत बांग्ला जानते हो, बांग्ला बोलते जानी বাঙালি আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে একটু বাংলাও বলবো ঠিক আছে তো and
Then
मला मराठी येत नाही.
So Bala will speak Tamil. We used to sit in the dealing room next to each other.
You know what?
And
You know, Bala.
Just 1 minute. So little bit of Tamil I had to learn. And Bala, just correct me, it was more than 25 years back. So in those days, the bond market was like completely OTC, over the counter. There was no NDS screen and all that. There was no internet, hardly anything. So all I remember, Bala, and correct me, I'm trying to remember after 25 years. Anji kudi, patti kudi, 5 crore, 10 crore. More buyer, naal seller, which is like today value buyer and tomorrow value seller. Itna sa mere ko dhyan hai, because otherwise I'm on the other side, I'm closing something for today value, he's buying something tomorrow value, there could be problem. And this is like a 5 crore and 10 crore. So some of these words, everybody who was in the bond market had to remember, because there were so many bankers who were from southern part of the country. You had to know some of these words. Bala, correct tha ki
No,
nahi?
his memory is so sharp. I thought he would tell me Sari, Vanakkam and all those things. And he's saying Anji Kodi, Pattu Kodi. We used to deal in the bond market. Ticket size is 5 crores. So most of my counterpart used to be Tamilians in those days. Any bond market you go, you'll see Tamilians. So I'll close the transaction, or you will tell him na Anji Kodi ho gaya karke.
But Bala, he remembers a lot more. Only thing in a public forum he can't say that.
That's so good. So if I try my Malayalam or Tamil, it'll end up into what in Malayalam is called Nashipichu. So someone, Malayalam speaking person, please explain, Bala.
You can mess it up.
So effectively, in Bangla, because there are quite a few Bengali people, I'm sorry, just that one more sentence, it could mean সব কিছু রসাতলে চলে যাবে. So that's the equivalent word. Anyway, we'll try and focus on wealth creation. That's something so much that we all need to focus on. About 50 lakh crore, we are ready to hit that number. And we're looking to double that number for the entire industry, for the mutual fund industry and the funds that come in. Bala, you are one of the prime movers of that. Just give us a sense of how this incremental number will come. Where are we looking at? We're looking at tier 8 cities and things like that?
Yeah. See, I think the way number will come, the way we were not expecting 50 lakh crores to come. None of us had expected 50 lakh crore, and none of us would have expected 4 crore investors will come. None of us would have expected the so many number of PIN numbers in which customers will come, B30, emerging market. The same way, I would also assume even that 100 lakh crore also will come, but nobody will, of course, now it's easy to expect, because the momentum is very, very strong. The way I see is, even jokingly, we had our Amphi AGM last week. We were just narrating it, how the numbers are going in sync. 48 players, 48 lakh crore. 100 players, 100 lakh crore. So I just think, just to have the rhythmic way of expression, and which I think could become true. That's one. More players coming in, and Geo coming in. I think more investors will come. So therefore, it's a more AUM will come. That's one way I'm looking at it. Second is, whatever we feel proud. I think basically one of the bigger piece, just give some sense, me and Navneet attended one of the session which was conducted by Nandan Likani sometime back. And we asked him, which is one sector you are extremely bullish, or which is a segment you think that will drive the economic growth. Personally, I was thinking in my mind, he will say medical, he will say health, or I thought he will say rural India. That's what it was going in my mind. But suddenly he said finalization, financial sector will become the booming sector. The reason he said is the way the payment banking mechanism, I think it's also conference all about digital and so on and so forth. And the way the countries today connected through the payment mechanism is far higher. The way the people are able to transfer money from one to other across the country today is very, very seamless. And when so much of connectivity happens through the banking systems, and digital technology I think playing a larger role, onboarding of customers will become that much easier. And mutual funds, I think increasingly, will become the prominent asset class as we move forward, because more and more people actually play in the stock market. Then more and more bad experience also will come. Good experience will come, bad experience will come. The way I always see is the ratio of bad experience will always be higher than the good experience, especially for the newcomers. So as the bad experience gets accumulated more and more, then probably they'll get shifted to the mutual fund. At the end of the day, even the very extremely learned people started respecting the mutual fund diversification as a strategy for building a portfolio in the long term. Even the HNIs, learned people who have been thick in the stock market for a very long period of time, who takes a big bets they take, even they themselves have realized mutual fund is one of the vehicles, they must use it. And that's the kind of recognition is coming in. My own gut feeling is that industry will become not only 100 lakh crore size, it will become even larger than the banking systems. I think one or two asset classes from the mutual fund point of view gain prominence. One, of course, equity now has become way of investing. SIP has become way of investing. My own gut feeling is even fixed income will become way of investing very soon. Not because of it's going to be a great asset class, from a return expectation point of view, at least be a good asset class for parking money and saving their money for medium term and moving to other asset classes. Also will become one of the asset classes where we all will take initiatives to make that asset class also being part of the every citizen of the country, every household of the country. The moment that happens, I think industry will become larger. Customer base, I think easily, we have been, of course, working on one theme that Kata Kalo kind of model, which we've been discussing. Of course, we discussed in the AMP board also, which is nothing but making every citizen of the country to be ready with KFC. What is first stumbling block is your KFC. For entering into the mutual fund, the first qualification the customer has to have, he has to be a KFC ready. So if you make that qualification by way of industry-wide initiatives, then only onboarding of customers will become, actually reaching out to the customers, getting the customers will become easy. So that is the way I think industry is thinking about it, forward thinking. And in fact, I can also share this, the AMP AGM SEBI chairperson herself mentioned that industry can become 3 times higher.
Wow.
Coming from a SEBI chairperson, who generally we all consider is not a bit skeptical, bit strict, and so on and so forth. And he herself is saying they'll become 3 times. Also saying you can expect some unexpected things, not on the regulatory tightening framework. He's on the easing up framework. He's up doing business. So they are thinking on those lines. I'm saying what they're saying comes true.
And some of these people will be prime movers.
Exactly.
As part of that entire initiative.
Correct.
So a clap for yourself, sirs. Sir and madam. So that's the opportunity, that's the big opportunity where the SEBI chairperson is saying 3x.
So if that comes, for which they are going to take all the steps that are necessary, either in the form of product innovation, or if it's service innovation, or technology related support, or any other regulation that could come, all those things in my view will lead to only one, which is going up, and industry become 100 lakh crore size. The people who are sitting in the room, I think if they get their act right, if they remain bullish, if they remain optimistic, and they remain confident without worrying about what the noise that is coming in the market or maybe in the regulations, I think their assets also will become 3-4 times.
So probably some people like me are responsible for that noise that comes. You know, market cap of maybe, Sensex market cap or Sensex value lost by about 2 lakh crores or 1 lakh crores, something that, one of those headlines that keeps coming. So pardon us for that. That's part of our bread and butter, so we have to live with that. Navneet, we heard earlier in the day, we heard about some of the key people, some of the key voices, the key people that you see. The points that they made about values, and we had just talk about the values. What are some of those things that will be the prime movers for people like here, or others like here, who will be the key people driving the opportunity?
By the way, every time is such a pleasure to be in this August gathering. Every year you do a wonderful job, and this year again. And every year you take the bar higher. Every year when I look at the schedule and I think that next year aur kya karoge, lekin every year you take the bar higher. So clap for yourself. Thank you so much. Wonderful job. So first, I think what everybody needs to do and the value system. I think Bill Gates famously said that we always overestimate what can happen in 1 year, but we always underestimate what can happen in 10 years. So there are always like 1 year where we think that, okay, last year ये हुआ था तो ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं, because it's very difficult to, I mean, there is this saying that you don't realize when you're part of history. And thinking about 10 years, Bala just mentioned that SEBI chairperson told us that they think industry can triple from here. But just go back in last 20 or 30 years. In 2002, so today when we are touching almost 50 lakh crore, depending on how the market is next few days, we are almost touching 50 lakh crores. Difficult to believe that exactly 10 years back, 11 years back, we were just 6 lakh crores. The whole mutual fund industry in 2012 was 6 lakh crore AUM. And in 2002, it was 1 lakh. So it was 1 lakh, 6 lakh, 22 was 36 lakh. And 36 has become like 45 in absolutely no time. In the month of August, industry did 30 lakh SIPs. 30 lakh SIPs in 1 month, 20 working days or something. And to put that number in perspective, in the year exactly 10 years back, in the whole year, the equity SIPs were around 13, 14 lakhs. In the whole year was 13, 14 lakhs. Last month it was 30 lakhs, and overall were like 17, 18 lakhs. So I think we have come a long way. It took 25 years of hard work, and I know so many of the people here and some of us who had the privilege of serving this industry for, let's say, 25 years. It took 25 years of hard work and going and, selling the concept of power of compounding, SIP, disciplined investing, start early, invest regularly and all, to reach the first $1 billion in SIP, 7,500 crores. And then it just took like another 4.5 years to reach it 15,000 crores. So 25 years, there is a very famous quote of Jeff Bezos that people compliment me for the great quarter, but a lot of work has been done over the several years to make that quarter look so good. So it's as good as that. But I think we have a long way to go. And the value system, I would just say one, I think if we are at every point in time, we get up in morning and think about how do we make more money for our investors, everything else will get done. I'm a deep believer in theory of karma. I think what you give comes back to you. It's as simple as that. If you start thinking like my business, my target, my AUM, my brokerage, my whatever income and P&L, then you won't get what you deserve. You will get, maybe if you work hard, what you want, but what you deserve is much more than what you really want or what you really can think of. I mean, just to give our example, at SDFC AMC, we have set a simple mission for ourselves. It's not the largest AMC in India, one of the most profitable, or nothing like that. We have put a simple mission to be the wealth creator for every Indian. To be the wealth creator for every Indian. And the whole industry had like 2.5 crore investors. Now we are almost touching 4 crore. I think most likely by this month end when we look at PAN number, I hope that we touch the 40 million number finally. It's been increasing very fast over the last couple of months, couple of quarters. But we still have a very, very long way to go. And we can see the pull of the product. I wear this badge here, SDFC, at airport, at hotels, at various places. Uber driver, the minute they see there and they say, सर SIP करना है, फंड करना है. Yesterday जयपुर एयरपोर्ट पे थे हम लोग. जैसे ही एयरपोर्ट पे गया, the security guard and there were like 3-4 people standing behind me, entrance पे जो security guard रहता है. जैसे ही उसने देखा म्यूचुअल फंड, उसने बोला सर कौन से फंड में लगा दूं. तो मैंने कहा SIP किया आपने? तो बोले SIP नहीं किया है सर, मैंने तो म्यूचुअल फंड में लगा दिया. मतलब ही डिडंट नो द डिफरेंस प्रॉपरली, म्यूचुअल फंड में लगा दिया. तो मैंने कहा कहाँ से लगाया आपने? तो बोले मैंने ग्रो के ऐप से लगा दिया. कैन यू बीट दैट? मैं अंदर गया, 2 or 3 पीपल वाला जो इवेंट में थे हम लोग, 3 या 4 लोग मेरे पीछे थे, बैगेज दिया. एंड जैसे ही उसने दैट अगेन गाय वो जो फ्रिस करता है, एंड देन इमीडिएटली उसने देख के पूछा सर कौन से फंड में SIP कर दूं. एंड ही सेड सर मेरे पास 2 ऐप है, ग्रो कार मैं दूसरा भूल गया सर, मेरे पास 2 ऐप है. अभी तक उसने इन्वेस्ट नहीं किया है, बट मैं देखता रहता हूँ पिछले कई महीनों से, लेकिन मेरे को इतने फंड में समझ में नहीं आ रहा है मैं कौन से फंड में करूँ. दैट्स अ पुल ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट नाउ. इट्स जस्ट अप टू अस हाउ कैन वी रीच आउट एंड ट्राई टू क्रिएट value for as many investors as possible. And I think if you ask me of that value system, that's the only one. We just think about how we can get more investors for whom we can make more money, and the investors who are with us. मैं हमारे ऑफिस में हमेशा बोलता रहता हूँ that कई बार ऐसा होता है रिडम्पशन आता है तो दुख होता है, नया पैसा आता है तो अच्छा लगता है. मतलब बाई चांस अगर किसी ने बोला that सर ये 15 साल से आपके चिल्ड्रन गिफ्ट में लगा हुआ था और आज अगर हमारे ऑफिस में एक नासिक का ग्रुप था एंड देन समबडी सेड दैट कि डॉटर की वेडिंग हो गई, पंडित थे, 8,000 दिए और करीब 1.25 लाख रुपया उनको मिल गया 15 साल में, तो मैंने कहा आपको केक काटना चाहिए था वहाँ जा कर के, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट रियली इज व्हाट वी आर ऑल अबाउट. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर इन दिस बिजनेस फॉर. आई थिंक इफ वी कीप दैट वन सिंगल वैल्यू, एवरीथिंग एल्स will get done.
Kailash, very important point that you've made. Kailash, the value, since we are talking about values, how does that value show up? You know, he mentioned about creating wealth for every Indian. हर भारतीय के हाथ में वो मौका मिले, उसको simple कैसे बनाया जाए? Because of the person that you spoke, it could be an Uber driver, it could be the tier 8 person. कैसे वो प्रोडक्ट उतना सिंपल हो सकता है या प्रोडक्ट्स उतने सिंपल हो सकते हैं जो कि इन सभी लोगों को लोगों तक पहुंचाने में मदद भी मिले? हिंदी और अंग्रेजी जो भी आप बोलना चाहें.
Let me try and answer this in two ways.
जरूर.
Okay. Number one, are we going to have 10x more customers in this industry? The answer is yes. Right? How do we look at it? And this is where the value system really comes in. So, if you just do a poll in this room saying that what's the most difficult thing for the mutual fund industry, and I can bet you that among the top 3 answers will be getting a new customer to do KYC. Am I right? Yeah? 1000%. Thank you. So, this is what it is. Now, we just took some new names: Jio, Bajaj Finance, Zerodha. What they are going to do is they are going to do magic. With their power, with their brand name, with their deep pockets, they will get the next 3 crore customers to this industry. The question is, no customers buy one mutual fund. They buy at least 4 or 5. Who's going to service those 4 or 5? That's a golden opportunity for you, that somebody else is doing your hard work, getting a new customer into the industry. Your value system is, are you awake to the fact, and are you your ability to capture those new customers and make them your customers? That is going to propel your business further. I think that is very, very important today. The people perceive, because I remember when these names came up in the paper, oh, they are going to disrupt the industry. That was the headline in most newspapers, media houses, etc. Right? Yes, they will disrupt it for the positive. Why are we using disruption as a negative? It is a big positive for this industry if between some of these people, yeah, and we have 2 big names here right next to me, they are adding more clients every week as we speak. So today the future is very bright. I think from a value system perspective is that what we need to do is how do we connect with the people. I think what the industry has not done well, and I'll be a little bold in admitting that, is we use too much jargon. बहुत ज़्यादा jargon use करते हैं. And we have very little vernacular. Okay? So if we do Hindi, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, Bengali, Odia, Punjabi, Assamese, we do all of these languages, at least 10, if not 16, right? And in a simple language, I think our ability to get more clients to this industry, help the people in this room, will actually go up from here to here. I think we have started doing that. So some of the fund houses have started having bilingual or trilingual websites. Some of us have started doing leaflets, brochures, pamphlets, soft copies in different languages. I think that is important, because communication is something, if you are able to do it at a local language, तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है लोगों को कि तुम अगर कर्नाटक में जाओ और कन्नड़ में बोलो, तो हमारा एक फंड मैनेजर होता था पहले, वो कन्नड़ में प्रोफिशिएंट था, तो जब भी कर्नाटका में प्रोग्राम होता था हम उसको भेजते थे, चाहे वो उसका फंड हो या ना हो, बिकॉज उसका कनेक्ट इतना अच्छा रहता था कि लोग बोलते थे यार ये अपना बंदा है, तो वैसे ही पैसे देते थे उसको. तो एक एप्लीकेशन नवनीत को जाता था, एक बाला को जाता था, तीसरा मुझे आता था. ठीक है ना? So it is like that. So I think it is very important to get connected. And मेरे हिसाब से ना, I only disagree with my friends a little bit. ये 100 लाख करोड़ का जो बात कर रहे हैं ना, हम सब लोगों ने ज़्यादा कुछ किया नहीं तो 100 होने वाला है. हम सब लोगों ने मेहनत की तो 200 होने वाला है.
Wow.
There are three things that we need to remember, and I use that the acronym so that everybody remember. The first is existing clients ko retain karna. Like all of us, Bala will talk about some data. He can talk about from whatever data that how 1,000 rupee SIP has become this much. Let's say if you did 10,000 rupee per month in SDFC FlexiCare fund, it's worth 14 crores today. Or 1 lakh in balance advantage is 1.4 crore today. But how many investors are there? I mean, there are a lot of people sitting here. Paresh bhai, बहुत लोग हैं. कुछ ही लोग हैं जिनके थोड़े से ऐसे इन्वेस्टर्स होंगे जिन्होंने 20 साल वो कंपाउंड किया है. बट हाउ मेनी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स एंड इन्वेस्टर्स कुड कंपाउंड दैट मनी फॉर लॉन्ग. तो हाउ टू एंश्योर client stays for much longer and really the power of compounding. The second is more important, the encourage the top up. आपके जो client ने जितना भी पैसा लगाया है वो कम लगाया है, उनको जितना लगाना चाहिए, उनकी जितनी कैपेसिटी है और जितनी उनको चाहिए उसके लिए कम लगाया है. Because life is getting more longer, you have larger income, everybody's income and wealth is increasing, aspirations are increasing, lifestyle inflation is going up. The encourage top up. Industry की SIP का ticket size is 2200. It was 2800 rupees. Of course, because of the fintech and they are doing a lot of smaller ticket. But even the existing MFDs, when we look at the average ticket size, it's not growing much the way India has grown and the people's needs have grown. It should grow much more. Existing client pe work karna is lot more, I would say, beneficial effort to success than trying to get. So मिलन भाई आप जो बोल रहे थे नए KYC करने नए clients लाने हैं, but जो पहले वाला आ गया वो ऐसा लग गया वो तो पति गयु हवेसु, मतलब आ गया क्लाइंट ऑलरेडी, बट उसमें ही बहुत दम है. उसी को मतलब बार बार करके कि सर पूरा नहीं लगाया अभी, आई थिंक इट्स बिकॉज का एक्सपीरियंस ऑलरेडी है. एंड थर्ड शुड बी एक्सपैंड द नेट कि नया क्लाइंट लेके आना है.
So very interesting point. You know, existing clients से पैसे लेना. How many of you have read recently, just last week or so, Indigo's revenue from their F&B business? Indigo ने कितनी कमाई की? किसी को नंबर याद है? 762 crores was the number, right? Now that is from a captive audience. That audience that Indigo has managed to tap is a captive audience. They're flying with them. And that's the kind of money they are paying, which is bigger than, I forget which... Barbecue Nation. Yeah, I forget that number. Now, so without, you know, let's not get into some part of it, but the opportunity, the day I would imagine the clients or the end investor is going to make money at that kind of money, riding on whichever investment, probably he should be able to realize the value of what he's been pushed into. Should I say that?
Just to add to what Navneet also mentioned, just look at in terms of investable population versus the household that can make investment. Easily 30 to 35 crores households can potentially be the investor of mutual fund. That's what when I met Google once. So we are actually making a business plan for our Amphi only we are doing a business plan. And I had a brainstorming session with Anandan that time, Rajan Anandan. And we are just saying now we will grow about 20-25%. Then after listening to him, he said, "No, Bala, you are wrong. So you must grow at every year 100%. The reason he said is very simple. The smartphone users are in the country as rising. Every smartphone user should be your customers. It's as simple as that. I mean, that means 60 crores population must be using smartphone, or maybe let us say 70 crores also. That means 70 crores should be your investors. That's one way of looking at it. So do a big picture. The second big picture is happening as I walked in, somebody mentioned about, well, the nomination is a problem and all this kind of thing. It's fine. I'm not saying nomination is not a problem. It could be a problem from operational point of view. But I can look at the big picture. If Bala as an individual, as an investor, I give my wife as a nominee, and my son as a nominee, and my daughter as a nominee. As they become adult, my daughter and son become adult, so they become an investor. Potentially, Bala gives you 4 customers. So you have only 1 customer, which is a Bala, but you also get another 4 customers. But they will become employed, and so on and so forth. Look at the way I think it can expand. I think quite big. That's what Navneet is saying is right. I think the existing customers themselves can increase the wallet shares. And second is the new customers who are coming in, like these nominations, they all become new customers. I think the question would be how to actually ensure we also ask. I think most of the times, I think where we all believe that the one other thing that we may not be doing enough, sufficient for us to grow our business is ask, or maybe push them, or maybe make them realize, and so on and so forth. So in that, I think the approach, if it is brought in, I think the assets which I mentioned earlier about this, all the AUM of these people themselves can buy 3 or 4 times very easily without putting any extra effort. I think that's the power of awareness, that's the power of the reach that brings in.
इतना आसान है नवनीत, तो फिर करने में क्या तकलीफ है?
So one of the asset manager I always look up to is Capital International, and in our first job, I mean, they were our JV partner. It's one of the largest AMCs in the world. And when they started almost now 100 years back, they decided they will not have a PR department, no media department, no marketing. They never do any advertising. Their fund managers don't do any TV interview, and will completely be low profile, and ended up becoming the largest asset manager in US. Of course, would have come ho gaye, dusre बढ़ गए. But and every time there are like anything that's happening, excesses in the market, and they will just move out. Like in 90s, they thought everybody was selling emerging market fund. They said, "Kya bubble ban jayega, bahar ho jao." So they were not selling, and they had the best capability to sell their product. They started with one simple confidence that this is a long-term power of compounding product. If we have sold that product, all we need to ensure is client doesn't redeem. That's it. Client doesn't redeem. We have sold the right product and client should not redeem. If we just focus on that over a period of time, as client makes more money, they will bring one more client, and one will bring 10 more client, and 10 will bring 100. And over a period of time, automatically the business will grow. It will take some effort, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but after that, it will be on autopilot. It's the hard work in the first. We underestimate the power of compounding after 30, 40. So one of the value that you asked about, I don't know how many of you, where the next generation has come in the business, one or two, Gopal ji ke bacche aur wo to ek do to mere ko pata hai, but still few. Bala is also passionate about it. I am very passionate about it. I think that's the value that you can give, that this is the most noble profession in the world. Managing somebody else's money, fulfilling somebody else's dream is what a noble profession this is, and you make so much of money. अब आपने इंडिगो का एग्जांपल दिया. इंडिगो ने 760 करोड़ रुपए कमा लिया लास्ट ईयर. इस साल वापस पैसेंजर सीट बेचनी है, खाने की क्वालिटी रखनी है, उसमें कुछ इनोवेशन करना है, वापस बेचना है. आपका तो अगर एक बार क्लाइंट आ गया, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन के लिए ट्रेल पक्की है. This is such an amazing business on one side, but the second side, the social aspect of it, यार, मतलब इससे बढ़िया. मैं तो कई बार बोलता हूँ, मतलब वो हमारे आम जैन, सो मतलब कितने पुण्य करे होंगे कि जन्मों में तो आपको एक चांस मिलता है कि दूसरों के लिए वेल्थ क्रिएट कर रहे हो. लोग खुद के लिए पैसा बनाने का सोचते हैं, हम दूसरों के लिए बना पा रहे हैं, मतलब उससे बढ़िया और क्या हो सकता है.
Okay, so थोड़ी देर पहले we spoke about disruption. Let me come to that topic. How many of you believe it's an opportunity, and if disruption happening around is an opportunity, for how many people you think? Okay, there are a few. Threat है? Threat कितने लोग सोचते हैं? Short term threat है? How many? Would you like to raise your hands? Okay, some going up. Okay, quite a bit pensive. Kailash, because the disruption topic came up, how does India and how do Indian companies, how should we look at companies looking at the opportunity being created out of disruption? How would you like to, people here would like to, how would you like to?
I think, you know, like everyone, I read newspapers, I see TV, and one of the things I read is that globally, large investors abroad want to invest in India. But then we read it, right? You don't experience it. Today, thanks to HSBC, I'm experiencing it. I am talking at least 2 to 3 phone calls a week with either internal stakeholders or external stakeholders in terms of them wanting to come into India with very big, serious amount of money that we're talking. And the beauty is this is across equity, this is across fixed income. Now we talk of disruption, all the disruption happening in India. They are also seeing it, right? But sometimes I get a sense of belief that we don't believe in our country as much as they believe in our country, very honestly. Yeah? So sometimes we ask too many questions about ourselves. अरे अभी मध्य प्रदेश इलेक्शन का तो वो रुझाव जो दिखाया है टीवी पे, वो तो कुछ गड़बड़ वाला हिसाब किताब है, अभी क्या होगा,
सब कुछ short term चाहिए हमें।
तीन महीने में अगर मार्केट पक्का गिरेगा, इतना ऊपर चला गया है. But these guys are looking at 10 year, 15 year, and they are saying that there is no country in the world other than Bharat which is going to do well. Very, very clear, right? They are not looking at 30% return. They are happy with 12% returns, right? But they are looking at long term. They are looking at structurally this country is going to do well. So these disruptions, and they are not disruptions, I would call these speed bumps that we are talking about. Speed breaker तो I think कोई भी शहर में कोई रहता है तो speed breaker तो क्या है कि थोड़ा बहुत एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो लोकल उधर का दादा एक स्पीड ब्रेकर डाल देता है रास्ते के बीच में. तो इट इज लाइक दैट. Our economy is way beyond speed breakers. Our economy structurally is doing very well. The financial inclusion, and I was just sharing with some of the people that, when we are meeting some of the foreign clients abroad, I actually, suppose Navneet and I have gone for the call, right? So when we are talking to the person, I pull out my mobile phone, which is very impolite in front of a foreigner. But then I transfer 10 rupees to Navneet, and then he gets a ping, and then Navneet shows his phone. And he said, what the hell happened? I said, I just transferred money to him in the fraction of a second. And it doesn't cost him money, it doesn't cost me money. And they don't understand how this happens. Most countries are not developed.
Correct.
So what we are trying to tell them is this whole revolution of jam trinity and stuff like that is so powerful that you need to explain. And they are really amazed when they hear these stories. They are really amazed. So yesterday, I don't know how many of you all knew Trevor Noah was in town. Trevor Noah is one of the most famous stand-up comics, yeah? And he made a very interesting statement. He says, to me, India is like a Lego. Some children have been given Lego and it's permanently under construction. But just imagine in 2025, 2026, when all this construction is over, you look at the efficiency this is going to create, right? So again, today it looks disruption. Today traffic, instead of taking 5 kilometers, takes 40 minutes. Or in Bangalore, it takes 5 hours, right? So that's the difference, right? So the story is that these are very powerful stories. And just coming back to the earlier thing, क्या ये आसान है क्या? ये आसान इतना नहीं है, उसमें बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. But मेरी कंपनी जो है HSBC म्यूचुअल फंड, वो 2 decades old है. But मेरे कंपनी में एक कंपनी अंदर मिली हुई है जो 25 साल पहले है. And then एक कंपनी है जो 15 साल पहले है. So we are an amalgamation of Chola into HSBC, Fidelity into L&T, L&T into HSBC. So if I just look at my own customer database and work on my own customer database, I can double my customer base just by going to those people who had experienced us and gone out. So there's just too much work to be done. I think today we are blessed to be in this situation where काम बहुत है, time कम है.
So very interesting. So because we spoke of disruption, Bala, the opportunity that is created, Rajan Anandan mentioned about the mobile phones in the country. Now, that is the part. Now, NPCI just earlier this month, they've launched the voice-activated payment system. Now, that is a next level now that we could be talking about, where tier 6, 7, 8, probably even something below, could be able to invest in very small amounts, minimum ticket size. Could that opportunity, again, being caused by disruption, is that something that the industry could be looking at?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think one of the area where there is a significant inroads have happened in the lending market. Anywhere in the country, if you go, people are fully aware about, one, borrowing is easy through the online platform. Second, repayment also is a must. Culture, there's a change in culture because they are being tracked in terms of credit score and so on and so forth. Unlike the past, maybe about 2-3 years back, where the intention to take money and then intention to not repay as a ratio was high. I think if we today the intention to pay back at any cost is actually the ratio is higher. So that's the way I think the culture is changing. This will gradually convert into the investment culture. And that's why I think the 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 300 rupees, 500 rupees. I think a lot of people that talked about, say, Jio. The one of the area where he will bring in 3 crores customers, 4 crores customers, only from the Geo telephone users who are in the bottom of the pyramid. So that if they come on board, then as Kailash mentioned about, they always start looking at the multiple options which mutual fund offers today, either through the multiple choices of schemes, multiple players that is coming in. I think both will play a bigger role. So that's why I see things happening. I think you mentioned about the level of penetrations. Then today penetration is, I think, going beyond even just simple exchange of WhatsApp. I generally exchange messages with some of my village people. Of course, I don't write in Tamil because I not put my mobile adaptable to Tamil as a language. So I write in English, in Tamil, of course. So if I say Anjigodi, I'll write as Anjigodi in Tamil. In English, I'll write, but they can read it.
The script is English.
The script is English. Correct,
Roman,
English.
yeah.
So that's why I do it. But they will send back the message in voice message. We give them any work that we give them, they'll send a voice message back, which essentially means you are able to communicate more effectively through the voice message. Therefore, the medium of communication, the medium of exchange of information, all have to also undergo a change. So all of us have to, assume, have to grow, and we have to also adapt to the style of operating of such people who actually now more efficient than some of us, but because they adapt to the change in which they can communicate very effectively, therefore my communication also has to change. So that's the way I see it happening. Therefore, the 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 500 rupees will become real. And most of the online platform, digital platform, that target segment will be get those customers. Like Paytm, the average balance that Paytm would be having out of, say, 7 crore customers would be not more than about 3,000 rupees in their wallet. Maybe 1,500 rupees or 2,000 rupees. But such customers, how much more you can expect in terms of giving a higher wallet shares? Only small amount can come. But what could it do good is, instead of seeing as a disruption, so it will become an opportunity, and there will be a manifold growth which will come as a result of this. Only because of the awareness, which I think is far superior in the rural village today. That, as Kailash mentioned, Bharat awareness about operating in the banking system is far superior than we would have probably seen about few years back. So that's, I think, in my view, it's a great opportunity, not only just for the mutual fund alone, even for the whole financial industry. That is why the lending market will become very larger. Maybe the time also will come, people even borrow actually invest, but not as a complete 100% leverage. I think I'm saying leverage as a concept is also coming out of the country now. I think leverage, I think we all used to hate leverage.
Yeah.
No, none of the Indian citizens believe in leveraging. But my view, I think as time progresses, the leverage today has come in mortgage, leverage comes in buying a two-wheeler, leverage comes in buying a car. I think as time progresses, leverage also will come for the savings for the future. I mean, in the sense, as long as you get that differential benefit without going, of course, overboard. Today's systems can track it if the moment you go overboard. The bigger revolution, my view, will come. I think all of us have to also be extremely careful. Is our customers, through the aggregator platform, the customer gives access to the data. Then aggregator platform, there will be 5 guys sitting in the country, across the country. He will know the entire horoscope of the customers, right from the transaction,
Correct.
investment he makes in various mutual funds, various FDs, banks, and insurance, and so on and so forth. He'll get a single window information, and that will make him actually realize more and more how his money is being put to use, and how he actually is playing the financial market. Therefore, what is that he has to do better?
Kailash, you wanted to get in.
Yeah, on culture, I forgot one important point, so just stepping
Sure.
back. 5-7 years back, most of the business people who invest in mutual funds, their statement to the chartered accountant used to be कि भाई देख ले टैक्स कैसे बचा सकते हैं. ये बड़ा कॉमन स्टेटमेंट था, टैक्स कैसे बचाना है ये. Today the same customers go to the same chartered accountant and say देख ले भाई नोटिस नहीं आनी चाहिए. That's the truth. I mean, that's the change, because the cost of avoidance is becoming costlier than cost of payment of tax. The same clients are changing their behavior culture to saying, from saving tax, I don't want to have a notice coming to me. I think this fundamental, and I just suddenly remembered based on what Bala said, just now, that clicked, that this is actually what we are seeing down the line, and this is across tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. Across.
Just to add to that,
Sure.
see, one of the interesting model that has made US successful, of course, there are many things India is far better than US, especially in the share market buying and selling, capital gain tax, whether it's short-term or capital gain tax, is actually done by the systems at the broking firm level, and tax is deducted from the customers and paid. Or maybe the statement comes to the customer on basis of which the customer has to pay. It's extremely system-driven. And India is yet to come. Just imagine that comes. That we don't need to actually even calculate anything, what is the capital gain I have to pay. All will be driven by the system itself. That's why I think the revolution will happen in the next few years.
I believe that is happening because I'm aware of some of the changes happening in the direct tax system, and this Bangalore-based gentleman. Okay, that's a separate from our conversation, but the technology issue, I also wanted to ask you, Navneet, and again, all of you have tracked the industry. I want all your views on that. There were days when you'd buy an ACC or a Gujarat Ambuja and forget about it. Given the disruption happening today, does that still hold good, or do we need to constantly keep looking at it over the shoulder about the kind of disruption happening? And given all what India is doing, Bharat is doing.
So for the people sitting here, मैं भूल गया वापस, elimination, automation and delegation. तो वो आपको क्यों सोचना है कौन सी थीम है, कौन सी इंडस्ट्री चलेगी, कौन सा मैनेजमेंट अच्छा करेगा, वो तो आपने डेलीगेट कर दिया इधर. सो डेलीगेशन हो गया, ऑटोमेशन हो गया SIP के थ्रू. अभी उसमें कोई ऊपर जाएगा, किसका साइकिल लंबा होगा, किसका साइकिल छोटा होगा, दैट वो जरूरत नहीं है, चाहे मार्केट साइकिल हो, इकोनॉमिक साइकिल हो, बिजनेस साइकिल हो. और तीसरा क्या था? एलिमिनेशन. हाँ, तो एलिमिनेशन वाला लिस्ट एकदम अच्छा होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल क्लियर होना चाहिए. भाई क्लाइंट F&O में नहीं जाना चाहिए, वो कमोडिटीज़ में नहीं जाना चाहिए, करेंसी ट्रेडिंग में नहीं जाना चाहिए, अननेसेसरी रियल एस्टेट डाइवर्सिफिकेशन नहीं होना चाहिए, अननेसेसरी स्पेंडिंग नहीं होनी, व्हाटएवर. आई थिंक वो एक बार आपने उसका एलिमिनेशन का क्लियर कर दिया, उसके बाद डेलीगेट कर दिया फंड मैनेजर को, तो वो और बाकी उसको ऑटोमेटिक पायलट पे डाल दिया. उसके बाद में यू डोंट हैव टू वरी too much. See, we have seen so many disruptions. I think the bluest of the blue chip companies which were there in up 79 का Sensex देखोगे ना, today what is the highest weight in the Sensex or Nifty of which sector? Financial services. Peak में almost 36-37 था, अभी शायद 35 के आसपास होगा. What it was when Sensex started for a very, very long time, what that weight would have been of financial services. Today it's 35%. 1/3 of the index is financial services. What it would have been when Sensex started?
Zero, I would imagine.
Zero, absolutely zero. You are absolutely right. I mean, there were shipping companies and textiles का सबसे ज़्यादा weight था, Bombay Dyeing and Grasim जो ग्वालियर shooting थी, Century and all of that. They're the highest weight, right? अभी textile का weight zero है. So textile was the highest weight, textile is the lowest weight today. Financials was zero weight, which is a 35%. But Sensex 100 से 65,000 था, कितना था? कल परसों अभी कितना चल रहा है? 65,000, 650 गुना हो गया. अब इससे ज़्यादा डिसरप्शन आप और क्या देखोगे, राइट? कोई आईटी इंडस्ट्री थी नहीं उस टाइम पे जब सेंसेक्स स्टार्ट हुआ, जब 100 का सेंसेक्स था. कोई आईटी इंडस्ट्री नहीं थी. फार्मा में तो वो अंबालाल साराभाई और कुछ वो दोज कंपनीज डोंट एग्जिस्ट. या लॉट ऑफ इंडियन कंपनीज जो अभी बहुत बड़ी बन गई हैं, दे वर नॉट लिस्टेड, दे वर लाइक MNC कंपनीज दैट टाइम. तो बड़े सेक्टर्स आप कोई भी देखोगे, दे वर नॉट देयर. पब्लिक सेक्टर यूनिट्स वर नॉट लिस्टेड दैट टाइम, राइट? बिकॉज द डाइवेस्टमेंट हैपेंड इन 90s. इनफैक्ट मारुति लिस्टेड in 2003 or so.
2002.
In 2002, ONGC around that time. So and SDFC Bank and a lot of these, the highest market cap companies didn't even exist. So वो सब ज़्यादा सोच के फ़ायदा ही नहीं है. कौन सी हर बार lot of discussions है कौन सा सेक्टर अच्छा लगता है. ठीक है, हमारे भी बहुत सारे thematic sector funds हैं, अगर लगाना है तो अच्छा है. But beyond a point, why to spend so much time on that? Just put like a simple thing and just focus on the power of compounding. That's more important. I can talk a lot about all the disruptions. In Fortune 500 companies in last quarter, your stock, how it will perform next day after the management call dependent on whether you talked about these two things. Number one, what is your India plan? What is your India strategy? Any company in the world, what is your India strategy? Number two was, what is your AI strategy? Because AI is disrupting the world and India is going to be a large economic power, largest labor pool supply, largest consumer market, largest manufacturing opportunity, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of disruptions that are happening, but अपने को क्या फर्क, मतलब for you वो तो delegate कर दिया ना, जब 3 आपने clear कर दिए, elimination, delegation, automation, तो उसमें ज़्यादा discussion करके कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. But I genuinely believe, if you ask me, I think AI is as powerful as internet. AI is as powerful as internet. When internet came, we didn't realize that this will have this kind of transformational impact on the society. And AI has that power. But I think we'll always find tools to leverage. India ka best part is we are the best in the world in terms of adopting new technology. We are the best in the world in adopting new technology. मतलब कैलाश ने इतनी अच्छी बात बताई on the UPI, or Bala talked about the UPI. I mean, they might have invented all of those things in US, right? But who has adopted it the best? India. India is the example for United States today. They don't have what we have on UPI. Last month, in the month of August, 1,000 crore transactions happened on UPI, and this is just beginning. 1,000 crore transactions happened. Imagine in terms of like the data capability and variety of things. It just takes like a second or so, like to transfer the money. And now with voice, because they are realizing कि 40-50 करोड़ लोग ऐसे हैं जो वो इंग्लिश में नहीं कर सकते, या टाइप नहीं कर सकते, या उनके पास स्मार्टफोन नहीं है, फीचर फ़ोन रहेगा, उसके लिए भी इनेबल कर देंगे तो कुछ और ही लेवल पे चला जाएगा. अपना वैक्सीनेशन जो था, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स दैट फिजिकल चिट्स, फर्स्ट शॉट, सेकंड शॉट, बूस्टर शॉट, एंड बहुत मुश्किल था वहाँ पे. अपने यहाँ तो नीडल बाहर आया, उसके पहले आपका नोटिफिकेशन आ गया. It's just incredible. So we don't have to worry too much because we as Indians are extraordinarily good. I give you one example of one industry, IT industry. So when it came like in 90s and everybody thought in Y2K, बाला पता है Y2K अपॉर्चुनिटी के बाद क्या होगा, बट इंडस्ट्री का साइज क्या था और उसके बाद क्या साइज हो गया. Then again there have been many points when people thought that now the whole server is moving to cloud, what will they do, because a lot of job is like basically ये सब Oracle servers वगैरह, आप पुरानी technology जो legacy systems है, these guys work on that. Cloud has given a much bigger opportunity, and not that every company will be able to transform, but the companies who are able to transform, AI will bring in another level of opportunity for those companies. Same thing in the healthcare. 1.4 billion people, as the accessibility, affordability, awareness increases about healthcare, which is like abysmally low in India, what kind of opportunities it can throw. I think the kind of infrastructure that we are putting up, physical, social, and virtual infrastructure, what kind of opportunities are there? 1.4 billion people starting with $2,500 per capita. We may be the 5th largest country in the world in terms of the size of the economy, but we are poorest of the poor country in the world from a per capita perspective. So जब वो 2500 से 5000 होएगा, then another 20, 30, 40 million people, 4 करोड़ लोग ऐसे products consume करेंगे जो आज नहीं करते. फिर वो 5000 से 10,000 में you will have another 5-7 industries which are very small today. They will suddenly gain scale. And the classic example is our industry. I still remember, Bala, when we celebrated 5,000 crore as AUM. मतलब इतना बड़ा नंबर लगता था कि एक दिन 5,000 करोड़ का AUM हो गया, right? हमारा AUM equity का 3 लाख करोड़ के ऊपर है. And just एक second में बताना, what was the total equity AUM of the entire mutual fund industry 10 years back? Just a guess, correct ji? 5 lakh crore, 2 lakh crores. Exactly 10 years back, 2 lakh crore का AUM था. You have couple of AMCs managing 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh crore plus AUM, one single AMC. And that time भी on a lighter note, slightly digressing, 2 लाख करोड़ के AUM में भी ये पूछा फंड इतना बड़ा है सर, अल्फा कहाँ से आएगा. अभी आप 50,000 और 60,000 करोड़ के फंड का अल्फा देख लीजिए, लास्ट 1 ईयर का, 3 ईयर का, 5 ईयर का. सो वो हमेशा लगता है ये डिस्ट्रप्शंस हो जाएंगे, मार्केट्स बहुत एफिशिएंट हो गए, हर आदमी के पास इंफॉर्मेशन है. तो मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ भाई जितने ज़्यादा लोगों के पास इंफॉर्मेशन उतना ही हमारा एज बढ़ रहा है.
So Kailash, what do the big voices that you meet, the global investors that you meet, वो क्या कह रहे हैं ये इंडिया के बारे में, जो अपॉर्चुनिटी की बात करें, इंडिया स्ट्रैटेजी जो नवनीत ने कहा उन्होंने, what are the people saying about that? Because we tend to listen to a lot of the global voices.
So clearly they're asking a lot of questions about this whole democratization process in India, but 3 main questions which keep coming up in the current context I'm talking about. Number 1, elections are coming up, what's going to happen? So that is clearly something at the back of everybody's mind. Number 2, how is your Forex going to behave? That's a very standard question which people are asking. And number 3, which is a very interesting question, is have we missed the bus? have we missed the bus? We should have come to India 2 years ago. India has grown in these 2 years. The markets have gone up. Valuations are, depending on how you look at it, rich or not so rich. Well, are we late to the party? So the third answer is very simple. If you continue to think like this, you will be late to the party. So aap aa jao. So it is like that. And we've had such a great time. I mean, just imagine, first time, global players are looking at both segments, equity and fixed income. It's not just one segment. So that's the, plus the JP Morgan index inclusion, you know. So we have a fund, global fixed income fund. It was $500 million in March. Today it's 770 million. Okay, 270 million has come in this
Few
5 months, right? We expect this fund to be $1 billion. So what we are saying is that the opportunity which India is representing today globally, one of the strongest economies, growing middle class, the poorest of poor, the percentages come down to the low teens. Opportunities in entrepreneurship which is getting created, make in India, all of this is resulting in, plus inflation control much better than most economies. Today, as compared to the others, we are shining bright. And people don't see this light dimming for a few years to come. So obviously money will chase where economies will do well. So the foreigners, and whether they're Europeans, whether they are East Asians, West Asians, that all of it is now becoming very strong. The only thing we need to do more, and I just put this out, especially for the Northern European countries, is they are very, very focused on ESG. And now SEBI has come out with an ESG draft.
Correct.
And if we are able to do Article 8, as it is called, under ESG, and qualify your funds for that, you can see billions of dollars flowing in. That's the big advantage which is there.
The very big opportunity actually next couple of years is on the fixed income, which is the fund which has grown the most in the world in last 1 year. Which category of funds have grown the most in the last 1 year in the world? Money market funds. Simply because yields were like close to zero and now they are at 2, 3, 4, 5% in different parts of the world. But same thing is true for India. I mean, liquid fund yields are like so attractive now. You don't have to take any risk. And of course, the other fixed income where without taking much duration risk, without taking much credit risk or liquidity risk, I think the yields are pretty decent. And in India, while industry has done so well, we celebrate all our numbers in terms of SIP, the total AUM, etc. The fact is, the fixed income mutual fund industry has degrown as percentage of bank deposits. In September 2016, the total bank deposits, first time in the history of the country, crossed 100 lakh crores. That time, the total size of fixed income industry, both the fixed income fund and liquid fund put together, was 10 lakh crores. Now, bank deposits are 200 lakh crores, और हमारा 10 लाख से करीब 15-16 लाख करोड़ हुआ है. So we have grown 15-16, and this is a time when mutual fund as a product category has really become big. The amount of money we have pumped in Mutualfundsahihai, the amount of hard work that you have pumped in to create that confidence among people. People are willing to take this kind of volatility that in February 2020, Sensex, the Nifty was at 12,000, you saw 7,700, again by October 12,000, and itni volatility dekhne ke baad bhi, there was this 18-19 month period where SIPs didn't deliver because market was flat from October 21 till let's say March or so. But even then SIP numbers were increasing. That means people have understood, jo aap mehnat kar rahe ho, volatility coaches, because volatility is your friend, not your enemy. Take the advantage of it, don't get swayed by it. But why are we not able to replicate in what is SIP? SIP is recurring deposit. As a small kid, that passbook for the recurring deposit, wohi humne SIP kar diya. But why are we not able to do on fixed income? Large part of the country is still looking for solutions on the fixed income side. There is tremendous opportunity given the yields. And if we are globally in an environment of what is called as higher for longer, the rates are likely to remain high for a longer period. We are coming from a long period of low for longer, lower rates for a longer period. Now maybe rates remain high. It's a very good opportunity without taking much risk. I think in some of the short-term fund, etc., corporate bond fund, banking and PSU debt fund, etc., I think we definitely need to work a lot more on how do we get more allocation. And of course, you have the whole range of hybrid funds where also you get the allocation and then from them make it more tax efficient.
In fact, for the expansion purpose, it's all of you should use this as a tool. One is the buzzword is about higher the longer. Itself means that your carry is going to be better.
Correct.
You don't need to take a carry in investing in duration funds. Even a liquid fund itself, your carry is good. That itself will give a great opportunity to actually convert larger wallet share of your customers into the mutual fund. Leave aside for the time being, STP we should do SAP, we should invest in equity. All those things will leave it for the time being. This itself will a great opportunity to actually get his wallet shares into the mutual funds. In my view, that could become real. The moment we also begin some exercise at the industry level, that fixed income asset class is also equally important from asset allocation point of view. I think we are working on it and hopefully it works out well.
Okay.
So if it comes out really well for the interest of industry, I think it can help in doubling the size.
Okay. So now let's get to another point that is very important. India or Indians investing in global markets. It's a trend that's catching up. Every bank you see has an opportunity for that. If, Kailash, I can start with you. That opportunity of using a Google or using an Apple and yet being a part or investing in some of those businesses globally. So at the moment, let's confine ourselves to the US markets.
You know, one is, of course, buying stock, which is there. You can do it through various platforms.
Fractional as well.
Fraction. But you know what is interesting and not too many people are aware, and it's still at the infancy, and I think Birla has taken a lead in that, is the gift city route. Both inward and outward. I think that's going to be a big thing going forward. Okay, what we don't realize is the importance of what a tax jurisdiction can do, because we've never seen a tax jurisdiction in India. We only talk of Luxembourg or Dublin or Mauritius, you know, but sitting in next to Ahmedabad, we have a big tax jurisdiction, which is going to change the rule of the game, both for inward and outward remittances, in terms of structured products, in terms of very different kinds of products. And that is the one thing in India, our learning is going to be perpetual. And if we stop learning, we'll be like those animals which are not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
All of them. They are historic. They only you read them in fossils. So in our industry, I think the newer products, so the standard products which are there, which all of us are aware of, but products will keep coming. They will suit certain set of investors, not all investors. So on one side, you will have the SIP, which will be a perpetual thing. On the other side, you will have these outward remittance products, which will catch the fancy of some of the MNI, HNI kind of clients. And those will give you exposures, not just in sectors, but various countries or growing economies or certain, for example, you can say segments like which we believe could do well in future. Futuristic technology. So these are things which are happening in India, and I think it's going to be very big.
Navneet, I'll just mention, sorry to interrupt, I'll just mention, for some of the premium, the more HNI kind of clients, is a Caterpillar, which is almost like the health of the global economy. A stock like that, or a Google, which is like the health of the digital economy. Is that a must-have in today's world?
So first of all, on the international diversification, so as per the theory, in like around 70s, 80s, US endowment funds, pension fund decided that we should have diversification. We cannot have all our eggs in one basket, which is US economy. So it's better to diversify. So from less than 1% allocation to international securities, they moved to almost 18% by year 2010, 2000, let's say somewhere in 2010, 2020. And in this period, US markets outperformed the global markets by almost 2% per annum. Between like 1980 and let's say 2000, 2010, US markets outperformed by almost 4%. So on the hindsight, they realized that instead of 18%, if they had zero, how much more money they could have made. And I'm not making a point that you should only have in it, because I genuinely believe there's a likelihood that we outperform, but still, maybe at the extreme high end, I think at the upper end of the wealth, they need to have some diversification, but it should be more broad-based across countries, across currencies, across sectors, across stocks, and not like in one or two stocks. And it's a complete myth. It makes for a great marketing presentation कि मैं Apple phone use करता हूँ, मैं Amazon पे चीज़ खरीदता हूँ, मैं ये whatever Netflix देखता हूँ, तो इनके स्टॉक ले लेने चाहिए. मैंने 10 साल तक नोकिया फ़ोन यूज़ किया, जो बाला ने दिलाया मेरे को. वो उसमें कुछ पैसा नहीं बनता अगर मैं स्टॉक ले लेता तो. And I was a big fan of Nokia. उसके बाद I switched to BlackBerry. BlackBerry was like a heaven. When we started like using email at home, BlackBerry, and then वो कंपनी में पैसा नहीं बना. अभी Apple ठीक है चल रहा है. So, and मेरे तो day one से Max Trust था, which became Hutch, which became Orange, which became like Vodafone, then Idea Vodafone, and then Vodafone. अगर मैं सब में लगाता रहता पैसे नहीं बनते. So I think all of these things are that we are using this product and all. What is today's star may or may not be tomorrow's star, right? I mean, the Cisco was the largest market cap company in the world in 2000. GE was probably second or third in the world. You know so people know all the $1 trillion companies, right? You know about Amazon, you know about Alphabet, you know about Apple. These are the 3, 4, 5 $1 trillion companies. Now Nvidia is. Which was the first company which hit the market cap of $1 trillion market cap?
Not an American company. That's the trick.
Actually, मैंने दे दिया. अभी नहीं तो आप लोग यही बताते यही नाम. Which was the first company which hit the market cap of $1 trillion?
No.
Which one? PetroChina in
Correct.
2007, 15 years back. Today, आज की world का size छोड़ दो, 15 साल पहले PetroChina was the first company in the world to touch a market cap of $1 trillion. So these things keep changing. But the story was China, energy consumption, and oil at that price and all that. ये सब change होता रहता है. इसलिए बोला ये सबको आप delegate कर दो इधर, ये सबको eliminate कर दो, ये सबको automate कर दो. इस पे ज़्यादा time spend करना is not good. Even if you are dealing with the most sophisticated investors. I mean, I was sitting with like, actually आपके ही वो that wealth वालों के global head was here, that lady. And everybody was saying that you should do this, you should do. मैंने कहा सर इंडिया में मतलब because they deal with the like richest of the richest, I mean, सबसे upper end of the rich they would service. बोले क्या बेचना चाहिए? मैंने कहा SIP in diversified equity mutual fund. बोले वो बोला conversation कैसे होगा? Wealth manager is going and telling me सर 100 रुपए की SIP भी मिल रही है ग्रो पे, वही प्रोडक्ट मेरे को बता रहे हो कि मैं आपको 30 साल तक हिलने नहीं दूंगा, मैं मेरा पैसा उसी लिए है. वो 10 आप अगर सपोज 10,000 रुपये पर मंथ हैज बिकम 14 करोड़, तो अगर आप 1 लाख रुपये पर मंथ कर रहे हो तो 140 करोड़ हो जाते हैं. अगर 10 लाख कर रहे होते तो पता नहीं 1400 करोड़ हो जाते, और कुछ करना ही नहीं पड़ता.
Okay, so we'll also like you to keep your questions ready in case you have. We have about 10 minutes, Navneet? Huh? 10 minutes? Okay, he has to leave, I'm sorry. But any questions coming? Would you like to? Please identify yourself and we'll try and get you the mics. Yes, sir, we'll just come to you. So identify yourself and ask the question. So we'll try and get the question. Sorry. So just focus on the question, please. We don't need to get into the details, please.
Yeah. Good evening. I am Vijay Pruthi from Delhi, and I have few requests to Bala sir. The first is that why can't AMFI escalate the issue of CKYC to the government, so all the bank account holder will become KYC compliant? Okay. So that should be the first thing.
Okay, second question, sir.
The second thing is that at AMFI level, we should standardize all the system and procedures and forms for whole of the industry, whether it's serviced by CAMS or CARVI or something, so that you should prepare some Bible sort of thing that everything would be same in the industry. It will really simplify procedure, and because what is happening is AMCA doing something different, AMCB doing something different.
Point taken.
And the third thing, The last
अरे, दो ही
request.
बोला था।
The third request
अच्छा,
only.
ठीक है,
right?
ठीक है।
The last request is to Balaji in his tenure, just as we started Mutualfundsahihai, the 2 campaigns should be started to become the industry not 1 lakh crore, even 2 lakh crore. The second campaign is that SIPS Sahihai. And the third campaign should be MFD Sahihai.
Which one?
MFD Sahihai.
Okay.
Thank
ठीक
you.
है।
Thank
Bala.
you.
नहीं आप जो सर्जन दिया है सब में स्टेप्स तो ऑलरेडी ले चुका है, स्पेशली केएस में ऐसा आज के दिन में बात चल रहा है, बिना केएस से आप कस्टमर ऑनबोर्ड कर सकते करके वो भी आज के दिन में बात चल रहा है। अब बिना केएस करके आप कस्टमर ऑनबोर्ड कर सकते हैं विद इन 7 days और 10 days 15 days। ये आपका अभी सेबी का इरादा है, अगर करेंगे नहीं करेंगे पता नहीं है, बट ये उनका सोचना ऐसा है एक्चुअली। नो, दे हैव एक्चुअली स्टार्ट थिंकिंग लिटिल आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स। But uniform policy, I think the way AMFI also functions. See, all of us wear our own hat. Ayatullah, HDFC and HSBC, सबका अलग hat है, अपना काम भी है. But when it comes to the industry, जो uniform policy जो बनाते हैं ना, that is something is the role model of AMFI. So कोई भी आप हम लोग जो policy बनाते हैं, whether it is case related, whether it is practices, camps and car we have to do, cannot be different from each other. There has to become uniform. अगर किधर uniform नहीं है, that AMFI as a body ensures that uniformity actually is brought in. Other suggestion, of course, yes. I think last year we rolled out using AMFI का किट से, I think 7.5 crore हम लोग खर्चा किए हैं, only to get new MFDs on board for mutual funds by way of giving incentive also. So last year किया थे, this year also we are going to increase the amount, almost double that amount, actually spend more money to get more distributors. आप दूसरा भी देखेंगे तो any of the advertisement you are giving today, the last closing line mutual fund subject to market risk के पहले हम लोग जो बोलते हैं आपको कोई भी आपका आजू बाजू में डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स है उनके साथ भी कंसल्ट करके उसके बाद इन्वेस्ट करिएगा। वी आर ऑलरेडी डूइंग दैट, मे बी बड़ा आवाज में नहीं आएंगे इसके लिए नहीं कोई सुनता नहीं होगा, बट ऑलरेडी इज देयर।
बट उनका आइडिया सही है, वी कैन से दैट
आइडिया सही है, बराबर
आइडिया सही है। ओके, मोर क्वेश्चंस सर। सर प्लीज, द माइक विल जस्ट कम टू यू। Okay, please.
Just adding to the panel on the UPI front, recently a German minister had come to the vegetable stall in one of the states, and he appreciated. Generally, we appreciate German engineering, German products, but he appreciated our UPI system. He was awestruck in our UPI system. Just adding.
Okay, we can get the mic here, please.
My name is Dilip Kumar De from Calcutta. I asking the Mr. Koilas Kulkarni because he mentioned that income tax purpose for the chartered accountants. My question is that because in the mutual fund industry, some of the investors they're putting money in joint name, first, second, third. But as far as income tax return is concerned, in the basis of the PAN of the every investor, annual information, suppose X has invested jointly Y and Z. But as far as income tax return is concerned, income AIR, all the name, suppose X, they're putting the money that here, mentioning that X has invested 5 lakh rupees. Also, Y's income tax PAN number, same amount, and Z also. That is a duplicate because that investment mentioned in the investor, first name investor will be considered as the investor. Second name is just like nominee.
So, sir, if you can focus on the question, please.
Question is that, suppose X, Y, Z, they have invested 5 lakhs rupees. X PAN number shows that X has invested 5 lakhs. Again, Y's annual information return, mutual fund informed that Y also invested 5 lakhs and Z also 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs multiplied in three system, the total investment is 15 lakh, but investment is only 5 lakh, and first time investor will be considered his money, second will be considered nominee, second hand is not invested, but second is just as a second holder depositor, money belongs to the X.
Okay, so
I think it's an interpretation
So
of
wealth creation of sorts.
how it is being shown. I'll need to understand this separately.
oh,
honestly.
sure. So we'll probably speak separately. Any other questions, please? Okay, sir. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. We're coming. Okay, we're just coming.
Hello, sir. My name is Srinivas Rao. I am from Mumbai. I have been giving suggestions to all my relationship managers that we have all types of forms for subscription which is editable. My handwriting is very bad. And I always tell them, why not the service forms? For example, transmission forms. They are never editable. So I have to fill them manually. Why can't we make all these service forms also editable?
Good suggestion.
Okay.
It's a good suggestion.
If you can get the mic here.
सर बस एक क्वेश्चन है छोटा सा मेरा एक्चुअली हो क्या रहा है सबके भले के लिए बोल रहा हूँ ये आजकल जो टेक्नोलॉजी के कारण बहुत सारे ग्रो ऐप और ये सब जो ऐप्स आ गए हैं इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या हो गई दे आर इंटीग्रेटेड विद एपीआई विद एमएफ सेंट्रल इन्वेस्टर क्या होता है पता होता नहीं है वो बटन दबाता है पैन नंबर डालता है ओटीपी आता है हमारा पूरा एसेट चला जाता है और क्लाइंट के लिए भी दिक्कत उसका डायरेक्ट में चला जाता है ट्रांसफर होकर तुरंत उसका टैक्सेशन भी लग जाता है सब
सवाल पूछिए प्लीज
सर यही तो सवाल है कि टेक्नोलॉजी बाकी जो ऐप्स हैं ये क्योंकि म्यूचुअल फंड कंपनीज एमएफ सेंट्रल का उन्हें एक्सेस दे रही है तो हमें भी एक्सेस मिलना चाहिए एपीआई का एमएफ सेंट्रल का
Is that why the Grow app has been given the power or the MFU has given that API to Grow app to access all the investment, even if it has not been made through Grow app, even through any other distributor, even in the direct, whereas the same CAMS and Kavi, they are most two distributors through which the distributor works.
Sir. Okay.
No, this point is noted. We'll get it verified with MFU actually. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So we'll need to come here, please. In the first, yeah, please. Sir.
Yeah, Navneet? Yeah, the question is, you asked us to eliminate our efforts in terms of selection of funds, stocks, etc., etc. No, I also believe in that we are not trying to replicate the fund manager's job. As mutual fund distributors, our job is to manage emotions. Having said that, what the mutual fund industry has to take cognizance of is to come out with these NFOs just for accumulation of, AUMs at the wrong times. And then if we are going to be concentrating only on our, client acquisitions and selling what you are asking us to sell, naturally there are times when these are all wrongly timed NFOs where the investor experiences will not be good. So if at least as at the industry level, if you are cognizant of the fact that you should not be coming out with NFOs of small caps now or what happened in 2021, Bala.
Sir, absolutely right. I think as an industry or any fund house, we try to come with an NFO where the story is appealing and what is selling today. And this is the category where a lot of money coming in, but it should be like what you believe in, whether you have that capability. Just because, I'm just taking a name. So just because, let's say, Balanced Advantage category is getting money if everybody is launching, but it's a skill set. I mean, the asset allocation, market timing within that, or the way that fund is managed dynamically is a very different skill set than somebody who's managing a diversified equity fund or fixed income fund. And I think just because that category is selling, if everybody launches, that's not the right thing to do. You're absolutely right. Or the case in the sector and thematic. Whatever is like the best thing to show in last 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, where the story is very appealing, I think it's not a very good thing to do. You're absolutely right, yeah.
Okay, I'll need to wrap up because you have...
I need to go for a prayer meeting and I'll come back in some time, so if you can excuse me.
So I'll have to wrap up, that's why. I'll just... you wanted to put in something?
No, I just want to say, Sunday evening, 5:30, just look around. How many people are in this room? Hats off to you guys. Salute.
Okay, yes. Okay, some points about that caught my attention. August was amazing. The language issue that we spoke about and the promise of disruption is the opportunity. That's broadly what I take back. And I'd finally wrap up with a few words. I usually resort to poetry. So because a lot of you are individuals also which are driving the industry, just remember, if you can, these lines, not necessarily because I'm saying, all you who sleep tonight, far away from the ones you love, no hand to left or right, and emptiness above. Know that you aren't alone. The whole world shares your tears. some for 2 nights or one, and some for all the years. Thank you so much for being with us.
I forgot actually tomorrow is Gandhi Jayanti. Tomorrow is the Gandhi Jayanti. I mean, these kind of men are only born once in several centuries, and there are so many things he would have said which are so pertinent today. One of them is future depends on what we do today. I think we'll all talk about India's Amrit Kal, India's growth, where the industry will be. All of that depends on what each individual, each one of us, what we do today. That will decide where India will be, and that will decide where our, the economy will be, where the markets will be, and what I think our industry would be. And I think each one of us, another very interesting thing is when people asked him when we got the independence, and he said that your work is over, what a big work that has been achieved, you could defeat the mightiest empire in the world. And he said, जब तक आखिरी आंख में आंसू है तब तक काम खत्म नहीं हुआ. तो हमारा भी यही है, जब तक आखिरी घर तक एसआई भी नहीं पहुंची है, हमारा काम खत्म नहीं हुआ.
Beautiful.
जबरदस्त. आई थिंक इस पर्टिकुलर पैनल के लिए लोग तैयार हैं शायद और कई देर बैठने के लिए. दैट शोज द ब्यूटी एंड द विजडम ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर पैनल विच इज देयर. So big thank you to all of you for sharing all this for so many years and today again. So I'll request some people to please come and do the honor to our esteemed speakers. Nitin Patel ji from Ahmedabad and Mandar Joshi from Think, Nagpur, to please come up and do the honor to Kailash Kulkarni. Mandar Joshi from Nagpur, you are there?
हाँ.
एक मिनट सर, दो जन एक साथ करके करेंगे. और हरी कामत जी, हरी कामत.
So
okay, जिसका भी आ रहा है.
Okay, okay.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So first,
Thank
we would
you.
be honoring our outstanding moderator, Hari sir. नितिन जी एक मिनट.
Thank you so much.
एक सेकंड, एक साथ में. हरी कामत एंड हरी जी, हरी सर. अरे नितिन जी आप ऊपर रहिए एक बार. I will request now Shyam Sundar from Bangalore, Balveer Chawla ji, Kamal Malu ji, Ashish Modani ji, Ganesh Sanbag ji to please come up so that we can do the honors together. Balveer Chawla ji, you are there? Okay. सदाशिव भाई. जब सारे हेवी वेट्स को बुला रहे हैं तो सदाशिव भाई नीचे कैसे रह सकते हैं? So friends, जोरदार तालियां इन सब के लिए भी जो यहाँ पे मोमेंटो देने आ रहे हैं. May I request all of you for a group photo? The reason why I have called them, सर कल 1000 करोड़ से 15,000 करोड़ तक वाले सारे लोगों को हम लोगों ने स्टेज पे बुलाया था और आप लोगों की कमी महसूस हुई थी, इसीलिए उनमें से कुछ लोगों को हमने अभी बुलाया है. So a big round to the heavyweight people on the stage, a big round to each one of them. नवनीत जी एक मिनट उतरना नहीं है. जो अवार्ड मैंने थैंक यू देने आए थे, 1 मिनट, ओनली 1 मिनट. अच्छा ठीक है सर. ओके सो मैं जस्ट रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि नवनीत जी, कैलाश जी एंड बाला सर टू जस्ट रिकॉग्नाइज 3 more people and then you all can go. You all will recognize. So we will recognize Mr. Vijay Rangan, Rajesh Bansal and Shashank Jain.